and we taught ourselves how to make games through YouTube. We already knew that we had to build our gaming career on our own.
It was awesome, but tough. We're the co-founders of Decoy Games.
Swimsanity is a 4-player underwater brawler where you control a Mooba, who is an aquatic hero. You can basically play different game modes from 1 to 4 players, either against or with your friends. It's just a lot of fun. It's just a throwback to, I just want to turn on a game with my friends and enjoy competing with them or against them.
We figured that Swimsanity should be our first commercial project.
I think the reason we wanted to be a multiplayer brawler because we knew that the first game that we played, it had to be something that we enjoyed. And those are the kind of games we enjoyed growing up. We enjoyed playing games against each other that we could also flip it the other way and play on the same team. A lot of Swimsanity was us just basically making a game that we feel like we would have been playing 5-10 years ago, but then modernizing it as well. There was no clear-cut way on, go get a game development degree or anything like that. So when we went to college, which was for us UMass Amherst, we just did the thing that we felt would be closest to video gaming, which was computer science. There was this one individual class at the time, which was Flash development. We had to learn how to do C# scripting at the time, which we learned that through like YouTube and online forums. I had 0 video game experience before this, and when I heard we were doing this, I went all in, like way beyond the expectations of the assignment. And I said, I'm gonna make this game. And at the time I was playing Game & Watch Gallery on Game Boy, which is a collection of old arcade games. But one of the arcade games is called Octopus. And basically it was on Nintendo. You played as Mario and he'd go down to the bottom of the ocean to try to collect gold and bring it back up to his boat while avoiding this big octopus. And I basically took that idea and I said, all right, I'm gonna take, instead of just an octopus, it's gonna be a squid, a jellyfish, a swordfish. And I called it Swimsanity, The Adventures of Mooba Jiver, the Scuba Diver.
Terrible name, by the way, first.
From there, I just knew. I knew 100% I wanted to get into game development. Growing up, just because the gaming culture was different, anything couch co-op was always really key to me.
Yeah, because remember, we didn't have the internet back then, so being on the same couch, getting that split screen was always key for us. So yeah, we played a lot of couch co-op games.
Anything multiplayer was always way more fun than playing by yourself.
Khalil and I would take time throughout the week to create game experiences because we couldn't play during school time. So what we did is we basically created the games ourselves with paper and magazines and had these experiences, use our imagination. Maybe we didn't know that was game development, all the things we were doing prototyping, but I'd say it's always been in us for a real long time. So after graduating college, we got jobs in corporate space and we both moved our way into solutions consulting.
This is when we started self-teaching. So we started going on YouTube, we learned how to do C# at first, and then we learned how to basically use Microsoft X&A to then create video games. We were basically porting Swimsanity from Flash to Microsoft X&A and actually deploying it to our Xbox. We already knew that we had to build our gaming career on our own while our actual work career focused on something else. The crazy thing about everything on the internet and all the open resources you have, you can learn how to build a microwave today if you want to build it, if you want to be the best microwave builder in the world, right? There's so many different things that you can learn how to do. For us, it was gaming. We went on and chased that. And that motivation is free.
We juggled corporate and game development for 8 years.
Now, the key thing for us was we needed to set aside time to work on the game. So if we were working from home or at the office, let me see if I can get my work done by 2 or 3. That way I can get an extra 2 or 3 hours into Decoy Games. Every week we have to see the game progress somewhere.
When we kicked off Swimsanity, New York was a big part of building that community. And with the stage of us really trying to build our network, I felt like New York was a great way to continue that. When we meet up, so we'd like to do the things that are better done in person when it comes to making games, just in general, just being out. So we can go to New York and just walk the city for a while. So the early development of Swimsanity was a lot of prototyping and starting all over. Yeah. Now remember, we are learning game development while we're doing this. So it was a lot of repetition and a lot of just kind of looking at what worked and going from the start.
The thing I will say is that we knew when the right prototype hit. You can feel it right away. We felt the smoothness of it. We felt the obvious game loop, and I do remember specifically when the game that we went with hit.
We went through different festivals and developed and tried to network, and what we found is you can either get a publisher, which that publisher will then be the one that distributes your game, handles the marketing. And we found out that you needed a little more experience than we had of releasing games in order to get in that conversation. Or you can do it the hard way, do it on your own, self-publish.
We self-published because those opportunities to actually get a publisher or funding for their game was not available to us at that time with our experience. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't be here today.
So we promoted Swimsanity really a lot through conventions, small and big. When we went to showcases, we felt like we got into a rhythm where we knew how to get the right media, how to interact with people. We always tell this to developers today, diversify the conventions you go to small ones and big ones. The small ones got us even more progress than even the big ones, because it's probably less competition as far as the big AAA studios there. So we went to quite a bit. Honestly, we applied as much as we could, whatever accepted us, we went to. We actually hijacked a stage at DreamHack Atlanta. There was a stage that was open, and there was just a HDMI cord and
A humongous
monitor, and I just said, anyone using this? And we just hopped on stage and we're like, I just got on a mic and just saying, who wants to play? And people started, took our tournament over there, and now we have this tournament on this huge screen for free if you're walking by. But that's what you gotta do, man. You gotta hustle, get your moment.
We were actually at GDC. We actually had a very huge splash because Nintendo Switch decided to showcase us for Nintendo Direct, and we were one of the games up there, and our social started to fill up. Like, we started to get a lot more following, a lot more comments and stuff, and it started to get real. We announced our release date on that as well, so people now had an expectation of when the game was coming out, and the workload started to become so high on the game development side that it was just hard to balance on the work side too. So we just had to make a decision like, hey, it's either now or never, right? This is the moment where we can either say we're going to go all in on gaming, and then our sales career goes away, or we're going to go in on sales and then our gaming career goes away. But we had to make a choice, and our choice was to go gaming, and we haven't looked back since. Sometimes I'll have like a younger cousin or niece or nephew come to the house, and I could use the game to flex a little bit.
I always forget how this game is 5 years old at this point. It's been a while.
Which doesn't make sense because it still feels like yesterday.
The way we make games is completely different now compared to this.
It's hard for me to play on normal time and not just like analyze like how the game is working. Like I have to overanalyze what's going on with the game itself. That's the thing that people don't realize when it came to Swimsanity. We're a couple individuals who are, or sometimes one individual playing the role of what typically would take, 30 to, sometimes multiple hundreds of people in a studio to figure out. We had to find ways to do like the sound effects and the music, and we had to do our own trailers, and then the music in those trailers. Every single aspect of the game that you see was literally like we had to teach it. We had to figure out, how exactly you go about it. So it's a lot. It's a lot to go through. It's a challenging journey for sure, but it's definitely rewarding though.
When you come to self-publishing, you need to make those connections yourself. So with Swimsanity, we had to kind of get our contract with the Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, which we successfully did by meeting them through small and big conventions, and saying our game is going to be one of the things we want to look forward to. So heading into release, what we did is we made sure that we were able to get our trailers on their platforms and release as big as audience as possible. We already knew that was gonna happen 3 months after our release, and we saw over 1 million players jump onto the game. It was awesome, but also tough because infrastructurally our online play was not ready.
But then you're seeing all these bugs come up, and then it's just me and him, right? We don't have a team of developers, we don't have a QA team. So every single thing that breaks falls on us. And when you're coming back and you're seeing hundreds of bugs, now you're just like, oh my God, all these million people are playing the game and they see these bugs, and we're just a 2-man studio, and they don't understand, and all these things going on. But that's game development. Like you're never gonna get too high, you're never gonna get too low. You just kind of have to stay the course.
Swimsanity will probably be the hardest game we've
that.
ever created.
Yeah.
And even if we made a game 1,000 times bigger, it will still be the hardest game because of the circumstances.
Yeah.
I guess I just think about how well we executed. The balance was good, but it's hard. I'm not gonna say it.
See, that's the middle ground.
There you go. Boom. Middle ground.
Through development, we play every single day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Steam said like 2,000 hours or something. So, because you can it actually tracks the playtime as you're developing. I'm pretty sure it's thousands of hours. Look at that, see?
All right.
It's all about how you finish here.
After Swimsanity, things really took a big change. We kind of leveraged the momentum that we had from Swimsanity and we scaled our studio. So right now we're a studio of about 30 individuals across dev, art, production, and we're working on our next title, which we feel is going to be the next big thing. Our work lives have changed too. You know, instead of more focusing on the actual hands-on development, we're doing a lot more game design, a lot more coordination, and really trying to communicate with our amazing team how to bring this project to life.
I think what we're excited about this project is it still takes in a lot of that multiplayer aspect that we liked and loved, but also trying to take that to another level. Things that we couldn't do when we didn't have a team, now we can find the individuals that have these crazy ideas in our head and can take them out and put them into the game.
I know even if I disagree with Ahmed on anything game development business-wise, I know the next day he's still going to be there. So I have that stability as far as a partner that I'm working with.
Having blessing to have a brother, it's great. We go at it and we can come back and be passionate and know that we're just really want both the same thing. So it's great. Even through all the hardships, you want someone that is going to be there. So that's what we are for each other. We disagree all the time.
All the time. Our best ideas come from disagreements, and you kind of have to find the middle ground between where we both come from.
Like, how are we building our game developers and setting them up for the next generation? I think too many times we're reusing the same talent, and we need to start thinking about who's the next generation and how can we get them involved. So how are we setting up the next generation and continue gaming? I feel like if we are able to do the things correct and hit our goals, it only makes sense for us to create the lanes for others to do the same.